So I look her again in the eyes, dead in the eyes, and I said, I did not use your stuff. And then she's looking at me and she doesn't say anything and she just has a pissed off look. How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. Tis I, the Native Patriot. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded any content to this channel of mine, but I've just been incredibly busy, and one of those things is because I'm here in Houston doing an internship for the summer, and that's going to be the topic of today's video, which is my horrific Airbnb experience here in Houston, Texas. Before I continue, number one, if this is your first time watching one of my videos and being familiar with my channel, I tend to make politically charged content, so if that's not up your alley, this video or this channel may not be for you. Number two, I'm also gonna take a little bit to get to the point of the story, so you might want to fast forward just because I'm gonna throw out some disclaimers and set the stage for the story time. I'm not making this video to take a big dump all over Airbnb because even though the situation happened recently, it's currently Wednesday. This happened this past Saturday, so it hasn't even been a week yet. I've been with Airbnb using them as a guest for about 11 years, and this is the first time that I've had an awful experience, and the customer service I received to rectify the situation was actually really great. This is just my one experience, and it definitely doesn't define the whole experience with Airbnb as a whole. So that's something I want to say. So I decided to use Airbnb to find a short-term rental. Several things that I wanted in my room or my rental was an attached private bathroom, so I didn't have to share the bathroom with anybody, Wi-Fi, and then also like a washer and dryer. This listing that I'm talking about, it was within my price range and it had everything that I was looking for. And when I was looking at the listing, I looked at the host and the host's reviews, and this is probably where I kind of dropped the ball a little bit, is that her reviews weren't like amazing. And then I saw that she replied to one of her reviews of her, and she didn't really respond in the nicest way. So that definitely was my fault in kind of like, I should have been like, no, this doesn't sound like a good idea. But like I said, I'm a struggling college student and it was within my price range, and I was just like, let me just give this person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I go and I have a way better experience. Wrong. So anyways, I booked the room. I showed up to the location, the address of where the listing was, and I said, hey, I'm here. And then she took like so long to respond. It might have been like 15-20 minutes, which to y'all may not seem like a big deal, but it's like, I want to get in my room. You guys know when you're traveling, that's all, I'm pretty sure that's all how we feel. Also, I just feel like if you're hosting somebody, you want to try to have like a sense of urgency to make them feel comfortable or whatever. So anyway, she finally replied to me. The moment I met this woman, she was not like the friendliest. And that was also something that immediately I was like, oh no, like, how is this gonna, how is this gonna work out? But she wasn't super friendly, and I was like, okay, again, maybe I'm making a big deal about it. I'll disregard that. This is a weird setup, like her house. It's like a townhouse kind of thing. So you have like the bottom floors and all the rooms are on the top. So my room is on the top. Take my stuff up there, I'm in there, and then like I said on the listing, I wanted Wi-Fi. So I tried to connect to the Wi-Fi. Like, I don't know how much y'all are familiar with Airbnb, but when you're on the app, you check into a place, it'll pop up like the Wi-Fi password, all the rules, and all the information you need. I noticed that it gave me a link to a website basically to pay for Wi-Fi. And so I had sent her a message and I said, oh, like, I was trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, but it seems like you have to pay for like a pass or whatever. And then she said, yes. That was also like another thing that I was like, this is not working out so far in my head. Let me just say, throughout the course of my stay with this woman, she was so like hot and cold. Meaning like sometimes she was super friendly and super talkative. The other times I would see her, deal with her, she was like not very friendly and very short. And the reason that like kind of bothers me is because I really don't like being around those kinds of people that are like that are inconsistent with their moods, because it feels like you're walking on eggshells. Like, okay, what am I going to get with this person today? Are they going to be nice? Are they going to be crabby? And it's like you kind of feel like you're walking on eggshells. I don't like that. But again, we're all strangers. We're all like staying in a small crammed area together. I understand that not everybody is going to be like the same type of person for everybody else, if that makes sense, that there are going to be things that you just kind of have to deal with, like, okay, this is how this person is, fine. Anyway, so one conversation that we had while I was staying there, I was coming home from somewhere and she was sitting kind of like outside on the porch, and as I was about to go inside, she started talking to me and chatting to me. Basically, she was asking me how I was liking Houston so far. I was like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of traffic, it's very crammed, and you know, I'm not really like a big city person anymore. And she was just like, yeah, but like the countryside, usually like they're really backwards there and they're not really good people. And I'm not completely dumb, like I know how to read between the lines, but basically she was telling me that she's not really fond of conservatives or Republicans, because obviously countryside outside of the city, they tend to be Republican. So she just wanted me to know that she thought that Houston, the city, is very progressive and that the outside countryside is very awful because they're backwards and stuff like that. I'm not going to have a conversation with this woman about politics or anything like that, because she's already indicating to me that she doesn't like people who think like me. If y'all don't know, I am a registered Republican, so like I said, if that's a problem for y'all watching this video, you better X out right now. But yeah, so I was like kind of put on red alert already when we had that conversation. And I don't remember if this was within the same conversation, but she had also told me, like, I was hoping that you would extend your reservation because that would help me out, because, you know, I bought this house as a woman. Like, I'm really proud that I bought this house. It would really help me out if you would extend your reservation, because you know, that's money to help me out with all my bills and all this stuff. I didn't really ask her too many personal details because honestly, I did not care. As far as I knew, she was like in school, so I don't think she really worked. I think she just rented out her rooms to pay all her bills and her mortgage and stuff like that, which I'm not hating. You do what you do. If you're gonna do that, then you just try not to make your guests uncomfortable, you know what I mean? It was also another random conversation. She mentioned that the field that she was going into, which I'm not going to name, she said that it was very difficult for her as a woman to break into this industry. And the reason that I'm telling you guys this is to kind of give you an idea of how this person thought about herself. First of all, I'm not going to argue whether women have or don't have hard times in certain industries. I'm sure there are like industries, and I'm not going to argue with that. Like, everybody's experience is different and stuff like that. But to me, the way that she was kind of talking about herself, it was like she was victimizing herself in a way. So that's the reason that I'm kind of telling you these little parts. One time, there was a snake in her house. Her son lived there, and when the snake was downstairs, she was screaming and telling her son's like a kid, I don't know, maybe 9, whatever. And she's telling her kid, like yelling at him, like, go get that guy upstairs, which is me, to like basically help her with the snake. I go down there, and this snake is like this small, first of all, but she's screaming like it's like the biggest snake she ever saw. But as a guest, like, I shouldn't have to deal with those things. But again, I was being polite and trying to be helpful to this woman. So like, I ended up putting the snake on a dustpan and throwing the snake outside because I didn't want to kill it. She was trying to kill it. I didn't want to kill it at all. Little things like that. I thought that I was going out of my way to be a nice person to her. And then there was this other time that while I was using her washing machine, it basically broke. And so I helped her lift that heavy machine out of the apartment. And for whatever reason, she already had like another used washing machine that was in the garage. So I helped her with both, like pushing that one that broke out of the apartment and then bringing in the other one. Again, like I said, I'm saying this because I felt obligated, but as a guest, I shouldn't like have to do that, because who knows? First of all, with the snake, who knows if that snake bit me and I got injured? Second of all, with this machine, say like I did something to my back or my body, like I shouldn't feel obligated, but I was trying to be a nice person to this woman. So all of that to say, it started to seem like she actually liked me, and it was kind of getting annoying because she would start like conversations with me in passing, and I was just like, oh, cool, like that's really cool. Okay, I gotta go. Oh, you're telling me more? Oh, okay, well, I'll see you later. Like, that was totally me. Especially in a situation like that where I'm crammed in a house with a bunch of strangers, I try my best to stay out of my way out of people. I try my best to like not get into other people's drama. I try to stay to myself. I try to stay in my room the entire time and just mind my business, because I don't like when strangers get too comfortable with you where they ask you for favors or anything and like it's awkward. Like, I don't like any of those things. So I really tried my best to like stay in my own lane, but eventually this lady brought me into her drama. I would just be civil, like, hi, how are you doing? Or hey, how's it going? Or hey, and then like keep walking and try to be polite like that. But she would always try to start conversations with me, and to the point that I was just like, I don't even want to like walk past you because I don't want you to start talking to me and have a long conversation when I'm just trying to heat up my ramen noodles, lady. By the way, if y'all didn't know, we had a hurricane here in Houston, Hurricane Beryl. And so a lot of places were out of power. When I was there in that room, the power was not on because of the hurricane. And that day it hit like 96 degrees. And if y'all aren't familiar with Houston, it is incredibly humid. So even though 96 degrees may not seem very hot to you wherever you live, especially if you live in places like Las Vegas, Nevada, or like Phoenix, Arizona, like those are very dry heats, and it gets like 117, which I'm not saying is any better, but like also 96 in Houston during the summer is not nice at all, because 50% humidity with 96 degrees, it's awful. So that day was incredibly hot, and as I've already explained, my room was on the top, so the heat was rising. I just couldn't handle it, so I went downstairs where it was so much cooler. I went down there was nobody down there. I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. So I sat down with my Brittany book. By the way, I have not finished reading Brittany's book, but I went to just go sit down and like get some relief from the heat. And then who comes out of her little area is the host to talk to me. And I'm like, she sits right next to me, and I'm like, oh God, like, I just want to be alone, you know what I mean? And then she starts talking to me again, and I'm like, at this point, it just seemed like she was just so desperate for like, I don't know, human interaction or something. She was just kind of weird to me. She was very bizarre. There was one time I remember she was talking on the phone, on speakerphone, by the way, very loudly with one of her friends, and they were talking a bunch of trash about Trump. You do you, it's your opinions, I don't care. But it again put another red flag in my head, like, okay, I'm not talking with this woman about politics whatsoever. And then she would also watch the Young Turks a lot. Eventually, one day, she straight up asked me if I was a Trump supporter. So first of all, I am. But second of all, like I said, I've never spoken a word to this woman about politics. But she straight up asked me, which, by the way, is a very inappropriate question to ask somebody, especially in this day and age where everything is so divisive. Especially after, well, this was actually maybe a week or so before Trump almost got you know what. It was just such an inappropriate question to ask a guest, but I told her I don't want to answer that question. I don't think it's a good idea. And isn't there like a rule how you're not supposed to talk about like politics or religion or anything like that? And then she was like, oh, I think that's like a rule for bars, isn't it? And then I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, this just went over your head. After that question, I was like on super red alert. So this is all to set you up for what happened this past Saturday morning. What happened on this past Saturday morning? I woke up in a great mood. I'm like, I'm gonna make some breakfast, I'm gonna do some laundry, and then we're gonna go have a nice day in Houston. Well, this woman did not have a great day for me in mind. So I go downstairs, I put my laundry in the washer, they're washing. I go back upstairs, I get some food that I'm gonna go warm up downstairs. So I'm bringing my food down to go to the kitchen, and she's sitting on that couch, and I say, oh, hey, again, because I'm civil, I'm polite, I'm cordial. When I said hi to her, she did not say a word to me. She was pretty much staring at the wall, just like with the most pissed off face. So I was like, oh great, this woman's in another mood again. So I'm not gonna ask her how she's doing. By the way, I never did. When I would see her like this or in a mood like that, I would never ask her like, hey, how you doing? What's wrong? What seems to be going wrong? Because to me, these types of people, they want that attention, and I don't give that kind of attention to people. If you want to be pissed off, you be pissed off. So anyways, I took my food into the kitchen, I microwave it, and then I'm about to go back upstairs, and then she stops me and she says, you didn't set the washer the correct way. There wasn't enough water in there, so I had to stop the washer for you, and just so you know, it could break that way. And I was like, oh, my apologies, I'm so sorry about that. And then she was like, by the way, don't use my stuff. And I was like, what? I don't know if she said my softener or my detergent or whatever she's talking about. I'm just gonna say detergent. But she's like, you use my detergent. And I was like, no, I didn't, because I did not. I literally did not use this woman's stuff, because that's weird. And so I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like, yes, you did. I can smell it. And again, the way she's talking to me is like not a friendly way. It's almost like she's reprimanding me, like she's my mother or something, and she's like so pissed off. I'm just thinking like, what is this woman's problem? So I told her, I was like, no, I didn't use your stuff. If you want me to go upstairs, like I can go grab my detergent and my softener. Maybe they smell similar to yours, and maybe that's what it is. I still went to go get my stuff upstairs so that she can smell it. I brought him down to her. I was like, well, here, if you want to smell it. And she was like, I don't want to smell it. And I was like, thinking in my head, I'm like, what is this woman's problem? She's like acting crazy. So I look her again in the eyes, dead in the eyes. And I said, I did not use your stuff. And then she's looking at me and she doesn't say anything, and she just has a pissed off look. And I literally, guys, I giggled and I said, well, this is awkward. And then I go back upstairs and I'm just thinking like, what the heck just happened? And by the way, there might be people like, why are you so offended that she asked you about like using her stuff? Which, by the way, it wasn't that she asked me about using her stuff. She was like reprimanding me for something I didn't do, accused me of, essentially said that I was stealing, and then essentially called me a liar. Some of you out there are totally fine with people talking to you a certain way and crossing your boundaries a certain way. That's fine. If that's you, you do you, boo-boo. But when a person treats me that way, I don't like that at all. In that moment, when I went back upstairs, I just was like thinking to myself, like, what the heck am I gonna do? I'm totally uncomfortable in this place right now. And like I've said, all of the other stuff, like, this woman is crazy. She's deranged. What is she gonna accuse me of next? That is literally going through my head. After it happened, I went upstairs. I looked for a hotel room to stay for the night, to just get out of that place. My thought process was like, I'm not staying here anymore. I'm not staying with this woman. She's deranged. She's so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm not staying here. So I packed all of my stuff into my car within a couple hours. I left the key to the room on the dresser in the room. I left the door open, and then I packed everything. By the way, I'm sweating as all of this is happening. Like, I'm drenched in sweat because this is Houston and it's so humid here. And I finally get in my car. I sent her that picture of the key that I left in the room, and I said, the key is on the dresser in the room, the door is unlocked, and I am not coming back. So I took off. I called Airbnb. I told them exactly everything that happened. I even told them, I was like, she asked me an inappropriate question, which was asking if I was a Trump supporter, because that is such like an inappropriate question to ask somebody. And am I implying that that's the reason? I can't prove that she mistreated me or went crazy on me because she basically figured out that I was a Trump supporter. No, I can't prove that, but I'm just saying maybe that was a possibility. I don't know. And I basically had to go back and forth with Airbnb for pretty much throughout the evening. So if y'all aren't familiar with Airbnb, it kind of is weird the way that it like works, and I wish it wasn't like this. But basically, if you as the guest, which is me, wanted to get out of my stay early, because at this point I still had like another month with this woman in her home, which again, I was not gonna do that. And so you as the guest have to like ask the host, which is this crazy deranged woman, if they can basically let you off of the stay early. She has to authorize it basically. And I have to ask her if she can refund me for the rest of my stay that I already prepaid. First of all, I did not want to talk to or see this woman ever again in my life, by the way. And so I was not going to ask this woman for a refund, nor was I going to ask her to let me off of my reservation early. I told Airbnb that. I was like, there's no way I'm asking her that. Y'all can ask her that, because she's not like, I'm not talking to this woman ever again. She made me incredibly uncomfortable. And so, of course, Airbnb calls me back and they're like, yeah, she said that you can come back, but you can't like leave early. And then I was like, well, of course, like who would have ever guessed that? Like, wow, like that is such a thing that I would never expect. Customer service was like, is there anything else that like, you know, you encountered or whatever? And then this is like when I was like, yeah, there were some bugs there. And I also told them, I was like, well, this listing, her listing said that there was Wi-Fi, but when I asked her, she said I had to pay for it. And then she's like, okay, well, let me investigate, whatever. And then so I sent her the screenshots of that message about the Wi-Fi, and also that the Wi-Fi did have like the Wi-Fi symbol on the reservation or whatever. And so basically the customer support calls me back, and I'm pretty sure because of the Wi-Fi issue where, like I said, it said it was like included in the listing, but when I got there, the host said that I actually had to pay for it. I think that was the thing that got me off of this reservation, because essentially what that is like false advertising. It's like you're lying and promising it. You know, when you book a stay and stuff like that, like it's like a contract basically. Like, I'm gonna pay you this amount of money and you're gonna promise me to give me these things. And you can't promise something and then not fulfill it. So basically, I think that's like the reason I was able to get out early of this reservation, because of that. And I'm assuming all of the things on top of that, because I told the customer support, I was like, there's no way in heck that I'm going back to this woman's house. Like, she made me incredibly uncomfortable, and who knows, like, if she's gonna come in the middle of the night and like freaking suffocate me or something like that. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where like I'm gonna find out what's next. The customer support said, yeah, we're gonna end your reservation today, which was Saturday. They also refunded me for what I had already paid for this month. I will say that I wish that I was there when they told her that she has to refund me and that they are going to let me off of the reservation early. I wish I was there to see this witch's face when they told her that, especially when she said that she wasn't gonna let me leave early and that I was, you know, that she wasn't gonna refund me. But that's not the end of the story, y'all. So I left a review, and I basically, all I literally said, and if I remember, I will put screenshots. All I said was, my advice, just don't. And then Monday morning, today's Wednesday, Monday morning, she leaves me a review saying that I stole a pair of her underwear from the laundry rack. And I'm thinking, like, this woman is completely nuts. She is completely deranged. And I am so happy that I was let out of this deranged woman's house. Yeah, she left that review, and now I can laugh about it. Yeah, it's funny. It's so wild and crazy to like accuse somebody. First of all, I didn't. I am a homosexual, if y'all couldn't tell, by the way, and stealing women's underwear would literally be the last thing I would do in this life. Again, I contacted Airbnb and I said, hey, this deranged woman left me a really bizarre, inappropriate comment, and they removed it. Not only did I get out of my reservation early, I got a refund for the rest of my stay. And on top of that, I ruined her ratings. The rating that I left her was accurate because it was the most horrific experience that I ever had in my life. And I have since come to this new Airbnb, and this person here, this host, has been so kind, so wonderful. My time here in Houston has been full of ups and downs. If I'm being completely honest, I am happy to get back to Lubbock pretty soon. I'm gonna stop it there. I'm pretty sure it's been a long video for y'all. And if you did get to the end of this video, leave a purple heart in the comment section and say that you made it to the end of this video. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.